Right guys, and welcome to race 16 of our first season with Williams. Since the last race, we've had a new gearbox made which has gone into George's car, meaning Latifi's had George's old gearbox, which is actually slightly better, but until we start improving the new gearbox it will then be far superior. I've also found a driver that I'm very much interested in, and it would be at the expense of Nicholas Latifi, and I will show you guys him. It would mean Williams would be an all English team. I think I might have just skipped past him, actually there he is. Callum, he'd cost 390 grand to break his contract and 33 grand per race. He's young, he'll develop alongside George, and we'll have two really young drivers who can possibly become absolute world beaters. And I'm kind of thinking this next race for Latifi will make my mind up. If he disappoints, he might be out of a job. And that is a shame, but when you look at 19 points to 55, I know he's had a worse car, but he's just never got going. Really, he's had the odd weekend where he's done well, like Canada, but otherwise he's just been very disappointing. And it's getting really hard to not replace him now. Really hard. So Singapore is going to be a big weekend for him. Well, let's get into it. I'll see you guys for qualifying, and let's hope he puts in a performance that can change my mind. Right, so welcome to Singapore. Here we are right before qualifying in what is a massive weekend in Nicholas Latifi's career. I'm not saying he has to beat George, he's just got to compete with him. He's got to show that he can earn points. I hope he can do it, I really do. But if he doesn't, it looks like we're going all British. So let's get into qualifying, and let's start working hard and giving everything we can for a good weekend here in Singapore. Track's a bit weird, but I guess it's quite a wide track, which is good. Here we are, we'll keep this needle now in that little green bit. So this right here will be a good takeover opportunity. Same with up there. He's starting his lap. We're going to send out George. And we'll see where my boys can turn up here, because I'm hoping they can give as good as they get. Been trying to come up with some ideas for when this series is over, what to do, and I think a possible road to glory from F3 might be the way I go. But it's a long while till this one's done. We're going to be going a couple of seasons at the very least, if not a bit further, until we win the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors. on George. Put himself 5th. That's a good lap. That's a very good lap from George Russell. So now we'll go down a little bit. Wait for this grip to hopefully come back a little bit. Latifi's done the slowest lap. I'm really disappointed in him for that. That is absolutely no excuse. Right now, he's making me worry, if I'm honest. He's making me worry. And now I've got my mind whether I send George back out. And at the moment I'm thinking I don't. I'm thinking we keep George in there. I think he's done enough to get into Q2. I do think his lap time's probably enough to get into Q2 from. We'll see what happens over the next minute or so in terms of lap times, but I think he's probably done enough to get into Q2. So Latifi's got a perfect lap time. Are we going to risk it with George? I think we are. I'm committing. Yeah, I'm committing. George isn't going again. Surely you're not going to see 11 cars go faster. Some of them by quite a margin. Latifi has gone quicker, but he's only put himself 17th. I've got 47 million in the bank. Cancelling his contract is not the issue. Cancelling his contract really isn't the issue. He qualifies in 19th. He's going to need a big race. He's going to need a really big race. So we are then Q1, we lose Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nicholas Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. George with the 5th fastest time in Q1. Does that mean he might make it into Q3? Who knows? Fingers crossed. So as the rain starts to come down, we will wait for that rain to go. There's no point in setting a time on Inters, it's not going to be the fastest lap time. There we go. And just like that, now we may as well go out. Send him out on softs, and this should mean he'll be able to put in a decent lap time, maybe even go provisional pole for a little time. I don't know, actually Sergio Perez probably going to put himself on provisional pole. So he's on perfect. There's not much more I can do now. Perez put himself on provisional pole. Russell now. It's over to you. It's green in sector 1. Purple in sector 2. He's a 10th up. It's provisional pole. Wow, it's not provisional pole, it's Q2, but it's, you know, it's first for now. Well done, George. Obviously, we'll have to see how everyone else does as to whether we go out again. A lot of cars sat down on Inters. I mean, we probably will go again because we've got a lot of laps in hand, a lot of tyres in hand, especially since we only went out once. And right, here we go. Come on then, George. What can we do with George Russell? What can we do? He's a driver who more than impresses. He really is. He's incredible at times. Right, there we go. Here comes George on his lap. But he's probably getting it ruined by the McLaren, and he has indeed had it ruined by the McLaren. See, he's 2 tenths down on his time, 3 tenths down. He's not improving, no. He's not improving. So has George done enough? Indeed he has. Into Q3 we go. Everything he does is perfect at the moment. He's really smashing it out of the park. And in Q2 we lose Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda, Lance Stroll and Kimi Raikkonen. At least we know Latifi and Russell will be on differing strategies. And George, where can he put the car in Q3? Yep. New set. We'll only go for the one run. We'll only go for the one run in case... Oh, the rain's come. That's poor on my part. Does it get... It does... Yeah, no, bring him in. Bring him in. There's no point. That rain's hit down too quickly. I should have looked. That was very poor on my part. We will now hope it dries up quick, which it is. Okay, here we go. Now we'll send him out. Send him on them. So we're now on with a dry track. See if Gasly set the fastest lap on Inters. Here he goes. What can George offer? He's out there on his own. There's no one around him. Go big, George. So he's purple sector 1. He's a second faster than anybody, as you'd expect though. So first. Oh, he's another one. He's 1.4. He's going quick. It's a 1.6 quicker than anybody else. It's a 1:12.8. I guess we'll have to wait and see whether that turns out to be a decent lap. Where will George Russell start in the Grand Prix? Everybody goes out now. There we go. It is Hamilton. Yeah, Perez going to go quicker. Ricciardo, Hamilton, they're all definitely going quicker. So Perez goes quicker than us. Well, quite a few cars do. It is George Russell who will be starting in 7th place in the Singapore Grand Prix. Norris, Sainz and Gasly slower than us, but Checo, Leclerc, Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton and Ricciardo are faster. Daniel Ricciardo getting pole, which is something I like to see. He's personally my favourite driver. So to see Daniel Ricciardo on pole is fantastic. And here we are for race day. It's now saying, is it going to be sunny or Grand Prix? No, it will get rainy in the middle. So it will get rainy in the middle. We don't know beyond lap 28, but we know if we can get to lap 10, 11, the rain will hit. So George, he won't get that far on these softs. I can guarantee you that, on these super softs. Latifi will not be going out on super softs at all. He'll be going out on mediums. Or will we put him on? He won't make them last. We'll put him out on mediums with the idea being he'll make it. Right. Whew. Let's get down to it. So it is Daniel Ricciardo on pole from Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen starts third alongside Valtteri Bottas. In 5th place is Charles Leclerc, whereas Sergio Perez is 6th. George Russell gets 7th, another fantastic qualifying from him, and he's alongside Pierre Gasly in 8th. Carlos Sainz will start 9th, Lando Norris in 10th. Sebastian Vettel narrowly missing out on Q3 starts 11th. Fernando Alonso will start in 12th. Yuki Tsunoda in 13th, sharing the 7th row with Lance Stroll. Kimi Raikkonen start 15th, Esteban Ocon in 16th. Mick Schumacher doing well to put the Haas in 17th and Antonio Giovinazzi in 18th. Nicholas Latifi disappointing in qualifying yet again, starts 19th, whereas Nikita Mazepin props up the field in 20th. Right, hold on to your hats. George Russell's had an absolute launch of a start, but he can't get past the Ferrari. Latifi has made a place off the start himself, and Russell will get past Leclerc and get himself up into 6th place. Sainz followed him through on Leclerc as well. And now George has just got to settle in. Latifi's had a very good start. He's up to 16th. Fantastic start from Nicholas Latifi. And now with George, we're not going to make these tyres last. We already know that. We will have to pit before the rain, as will a lot of the front runners. So there we go. We'll put George Russell ERS on. Latifi's ERS will also come on now. He's actually dropped a place with his ERS on. That makes no sense to me. Daniel Ricciardo's had a really poor start, and Russell makes it even worse by getting past him. Now George will look to close up on Valtteri. Latifi's up into 15th place. He's not having a bad race at all. Making his way up that field as he would hope to. We've got to keep our eye on George because he will be pitting soon enough. Lando Norris has pitted really early. I mean, my plan would be to make these tyres last as long as we can and then pit for another pair of super softs to get us to the rain. If that would be possible, that is. I don't know. Sainz are slightly better tyres than George, and George is certainly dropping off the pace of Valtteri Bottas. Maybe we'll have to go to softs rather than super softs, because we know the rain is coming. So we will speed this up now. When is the rain coming? We will have a look. When we come back round, I think we should be still within the tyres life limit. We are. Okay, so when is the rain coming? It's about lap 11 we want to be pitting realistically. So we'll try and work out whether it's worth I don't know how long the super softs last for. I mean, those front runners really are off. Oh no, I meant to pit him. World of my own, and George is now off. I've messed that up for George. That's completely my fault. Oh. It's what happens when you record after a 9-hour shift. You just lose concentration at the most important times. George was just going to drop back now, isn't he? Let's be honest. Essentially, that's what's going to happen. George will just drop back because he's not going to have the tyres. He's managed to fend him off, but there you go. They're pitting now. As soon as they've got past him, they're pitting. And his tyres are that dead. You can see it. He should get into the air. He's got in. Right, so now we'll focus on Latifi. Nicholas Latifi running in 7th. Russell's running in 19th. He actually's got a jump on Leclerc as well. He's also on super softs, just to remind, we're playing the weather a little bit there. So when is the rain? Is the rain still coming? If the rain's still coming, why don't we put him on push and put his engine on high? I've literally got nothing to lose on that front. And Nicholas Latifi, because we know what we're doing with these tyres, all of a sudden he's got an opportunity here. He's got an opportunity, and it is a big opportunity. The rain will come momentarily, or so I believe. And it goes to the end of the race, the rain. So Nicholas Latifi, we're going to take him off that now. He's struggling to get past Gasly, and that's what's frustrating. We're just waiting for the blooming rain to come at the moment. As soon as that rain hits, we're sorted. With Latifi in particular, we're absolutely sorted as soon as that rain hits. But George's tyres now burning out, and now it's hitting. What's the gap between them? It's only 9 seconds. I'm going to make a call. It's either going to be a really great call or a really stupid call. We double stack him. Like I said, it's either a really great call or a really stupid call. So, will he be gone? He will be gone. That is perfect. That's actually worked pretty well. Now, Latifi. Let's do this. We're the first ones to go to Inters. Still no one's gone to Inters. Stroll has. So Latifi's definitely ahead of Stroll. George will have to try and get past him. Vettel's really struggling out there now. And Latifi's dived down the inside. Nicholas Latifi's our biggest hope for points here. And everyone else, it just hasn't come in. And look at this. Latifi's going to be gaining places left, right and centre. But it's like people like Ocon. So now what I want is I want someone to attack. I'm going to get him to attack. Put him in high mode. Put you in high mode. And we'll see what happens. Because I need someone's tyres to go more than the others, realistically now. Otherwise I'm going to have to pit someone early. Which I'm not afraid to do. I can do that. Latifi, look at him, he's getting up now behind Alonso. He's got past Perez. I'm just surprised these front runners are not willing to pit, if I'm honest. There we go. So he's gone and got his tyres down. We can then bring him down to that, and we'll keep him on his high overtake style. George Russell is actually in the points. He's in 9th place. I've just realised, realistically, as it gets damper. Is it going to get to the point where it's really damp? No, it never really gets to really damp. Right, we're going to have to pit George this lap. He's not going to take them to the end. That's the thing that I worry about. We might have to bring him back in at the end of the Grand Prix. Should hopefully last. So in George will come this lap from 9th place. Latifi is currently in 6th place, and with it getting wetter, this will suit him to the ground right now. You've got Valtteri Bottas who's refusing to pit. And then this lap, he can pit. They both might have to pit again, and that's what worries me, but we'll do what we can. We've got past Yuki there, but we're going to lose that place back to him now. So here we go. No. George's undercut. George has undercut, but he will have ERS now, so Latifi should get back past. Hamilton has now pit for Inters. Latifi's just got past Bottas. When it comes to, do we tell them to conserve their tyres now? Yeah, I think we tell them to both conserve their tyres as much as they can. And we'll see whether they get to the end or not. I don't think they will. I think we'd be asking far too much, especially of Russell, who's already had a few laps where he hasn't been conserving his tyres. I think we'd be asking a hell of a lot. I think getting to the end. But right now we're running in 9th and 10th. That is not bad at all. No, that's 7th and 8th. Everyone's on Inters now, as you'd expect. I'm surprised a few cars didn't change maybe a little earlier than they did. But right now we are wondering whether we can take these tyres to the end. That's the wonderment at the moment. George, it is very much probably not going to happen. Latifi, it's looking a bit more likely. Definitely does look a little more likely with Latifi, who's in 7th place. He's had a splendid Grand Prix. And Checo is all over the back of George. Absolutely all over the back of him. It's George on 38%. With 4 laps left, it just isn't feasible, is it? Because you're just going to burn through it now the track's drying up a little bit. Here comes the rain, which may save them a little bit more. I mean, I'm giving it a rest. I probably shouldn't do that, to be fair. That's going to eat them up even that little bit more. 3 laps to go. 25%. With George, I'm just sat there. I'm thinking, I've got to pit him in, realistically. Or do I just risk it in the fact that if I pit him, he's not going to get points. If I don't pit him, he may play a what? He may play a blinder. He may play a blinder. Because everyone's tyres are going to be getting knackered. And at the moment he's in 9th place, so he has just lost a place. Latifi's about to go on to the final lap. George is there, he's got 12% on them tyres, they're going to be gone. He's going to be just fall back by the end of this lap and he's going to get out of the points, I think. It's very unlikely he's going to hold on. Especially around here where it's got to be fast and furious. George, does he get a point? George does. George gets 10th, Latifi gets 7th. I said Latifi needed a big race. He's had a big race. Not only has he beat George, He's done it by a few places, and quite frankly, it was quite comfortable. In the end, getting to Q3 is what screwed George a little bit. If George hadn't got to Q3, I think we could have had a really big points haul in this race. All in all, it's not a bad points haul. Managing to get George and Nicholas to 7th and 10th, and George taking those inters at the end for 16 laps. Absolutely incredible. Fantastic drive to hang on to a point as well, especially on them absolutely dead tyres. So he'll get an extra point to his name. It's an extra 6 points for Latifi. What does that do to the championship? So George has dropped from 7th down to 9th. He's on 56 points now for the season, which is still an amazing points haul. And Latifi's actually jumped up a few from 18th to 16th on 25. I have to say, Lando Norris's points haul is shocking this season, absolutely awful. And we remain in 7th place on 81 points. We can still hope for a 5th place finish. We are only 16 points behind, but I mean, even a 4th place is looking possible. But I'm not going to hold out hope for that. Right now, I should just be happy that we're performing better than expected this season. The car's looking good. And Latifi saves his job for another race, I think. I don't feel like we'll be having Callum Ilott come in. I could change my mind when I come back on here to record the next episode. I might just bring him in. It's a possibility, but at the same time, I feel like it would be a little bit harsh. It was a good drive from Latifi to manage to get himself a 7th place finish. George did well on some absolutely knackered tyres as well. We get an extra 1.2 million in the bank, taking us to 48.2. I've got some decision making to do regarding Latifi, because it was a good drive, but I just feel maybe my head's been turned. Just maybe. Up next is Japan. There isn't meant to be any rain in Japan, but today I feel like we made the call absolutely spot on. Double stacking to the point where as soon as George came in, Latifi was just leaving. Absolutely spot on. But if you've enjoyed that race, a double points haul for Williams, drop this video a like, give us a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in Japan.